Yeah, I mean, I'm not live. What's up? Or you should wonder it.
I'm gonna at some point. Oh,
hello, Orb.
I don't know if you noticed.
Don't even.
It's been there for a little while. As a stop.
People are just gonna block you for having it. Like, legitimately, I've been doing that. I know you want the bit. I thought about the bit too, but like, thing on your leg.
Fine, that's actually nice.
Oh, the mic is on. Hi. What's up? Hi everybody. I am so sorry that I am so late, as per usual. I have a jury duty summons for like, I want to say either Monday or Tuesday, I don't remember the exact day. And I had to go get a note of, hi Gwen. I had to get a note of like, medical exemption, basically. And I was like, okay, then I'll just go like get one from my doctor and he'll just sign it and then we'll, you know, head out. Because everybody at my local doctor's office knows I have like heart and lung problems and pulmonary hypertension and I'm very susceptible to lung and heart things. And I had to apparently instead make an appointment because they hadn't seen me in a while instead of just signing off on it. And then I had to drive really fast up to the county clerk's office because the county clerk's office is like 15 minutes away in a different city because we're too small to have our own county clerk's office. But then they were closed, so I'm gonna have to go on Monday and do it then. So I'm. Hi, that's why I'm late. It's a lot. How are you guys? How is everybody? Oh yeah, so fun. The funnest. Gwen, no. Gwen, no, please. I mean, that's the thing though, is I need a legal medical exemption and I can't just call and be like, no, I'm not going. No, that's not a thing I can just do legally. It's very fun. That's fair. I don't know. I don't know where everybody lives, and I don't want to make assumptions that everybody lives in the States and knows it, so that's why I explained it. Anyway, we're gonna talk about hands today. What's better, Strayer? I swear to God, if you give me shit, I'm gonna kill you because it's Doodlefort, and you need to wait until it's not Doodlefort. I have to work with her. Okay, that's better. That's worse, but also that's at that point I would just like wear like 3 face masks and the plastic like visor face mask, 2 pairs of gloves, and be like, all right, now what? Or alternatively, Strayer, what you could do, oh God. Sure, what you could do. Okay, you could do that too. I was gonna say, you could show up to work in an inflatable T-Rex costume. Just saying, because it technically works as protection to some extent, as well as wearing like a mask under it. But like, you just show up in a T-Rex costume and they're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, you're making me work with someone with COVID, so I'm gonna be a fucking T-Rex. What do you want from me? It's not like I can buy the medical, like, clean, safe suits. This is all I got. Also, yeah, just also telling them to eat your dick works. Anyway, today's Doodlefort. We're not streaming anything fun. It's hand day. We're boot camping some hands. Oh, they might give you dick COVID. That'd suck. We're off to a strong start today. Oh. I mean, maybe. Possibly. Okay. Audio good? Music's not too loud, etc., etc. We all here? Snuggled in, got our tablets, taking notes, doing whatever it is you want to do during Doodlefort. I'm looking for my tablet pin as per freaking usual. Evie, get the fuck out of here. You're not gonna jump on me every single time I'm at the computer, I swear to God. Ugh. God damn it. Where's my pen? Really? Oh, I see my entire... Cool. I see that fell. Which is great because I don't have any fucking... Oh my God. I'm gonna kill the setup. I swear to fuck. Also, I legitimately don't know where my tablet pin went. Oh, there it is. It was under the cat bed. Okay, so first things first that I want to mention is when drawing anything, and I've tried to rail this into you guys for months now at this point. Like, honestly, I've really tried. I'm doing warm-ups, forgive me, because I wasn't able to do these before stream. Is that everything is just shapes. It is all just shapes. All shapes. 100% shapes. Break things down into shapes. Every time. We just started! Okay. Fine. 2 seconds. I also got told today, I'm gonna just do like a 1-minute ad. That's it. Goodbye, everybody who doesn't have a sub, including Sabs, who's here for Doodlefort. And Mimic, who's also here for Doodlefort. So the main thing is that you need to break down absolutely everything into shapes. And I'm gonna wait until Mimic and someone tells me that the ad's over. Okay, well, I guess Mimic can just have a sub. Thank you, King Fisher, for the tier 1 sub to Mimic, and also B-Dragon for the tier 1 for 5 whole months. I just want Doodlefort. I just want Doodlefort. I just want Doodlefort. It's 3D printed. Fantastic. I am now completely 100% invested in your date. Is the ad over yet? Can we stop? Is the ad over? Hi, Assassin. How are you? Okay, so the most basic thing with hands is breaking them down into shapes. I've been trying to explain to everybody in Doodlefort, for the most part, that breaking things down into shapes is going to let you draw anything, literally anything, because all it is getting down the base mass of something and then adding on to it. So if you were, say, to, I don't know, draw maybe like this and then like a triangle, oh my god, wow, shocking. And then maybe, oh, even like a circled sort of thing going on, wow, it's a face. So the question is then, how do you break the hand down into basic shapes? And one of the easier ones that I tend to tell people is the box of fries, which is like this shape generally. And then from there, I tell people to just like draw some fries. And wow, it's a hand in most cases. That's kind of the most general one, just because, you know, it's something that people can latch onto, but it's not exactly right. In most cases, the reason that I say that there's a box of fries is because actually, if you look at your hand, you'll notice that one side actually is a little bit higher than the other. Okay? And that is because your hands connect at different points to your palm. The fingers are always going to be the hard part of the hands. So technically, Evie, can you not? The palm is going to be sort of this shape, and then actually it is taller than the back a half. Okay? So that fry shape is actually technically backwards, but it's the easiest way to get people introduced into drawing hands. So you have that, a triangle, and a square. And you go, okay, that's the most basic version of hands.
Evie, not today.
Love you, not today. I'm literally gonna be like giving you attention for the next 8 hours after this. Stop. I love you, but stop. Okay. And then from there, all a finger is just some tubes. It is literally just some tubes. Learn to draw square. Draw 3 square. Connect said square. You have fingy. But the mission is by oh, okay, so you're marrying this person, right? As long as they don't turn out to be a psychopath. So, okay. So now you pretty much have tube for finger, okay? And for right now, just don't worry about fingernails. Don't worry about like the little lines in your hand. Just try to get down your basic shapes, okay? So now, at that point, you can sit there and go, okay, well, there's a square. This goes up a little bit. You have tube, and you have to remember that the index finger is only a little bit smaller than that one. The middle finger, the ring finger is a little bit smaller usually than the index finger, but not always. Some people have the ring finger being just the same size as the index finger. It just depends on how you feel like drawing it. And the pinky is always the smallest. Wow, it's almost like it looks like a hand. Okay, so at that point, we now have the basic shapes to build hand, but the issue is we are missing thumb, okay? So the biggest thing is, I will say, I'm a little surprised, hold on, let me try to find it first, that no one used like a large amount of their own hands aside from like Jordy, which is interesting. Thanks. Okay, so why not consider, if you have any problem at all, god damn it, just drawing fucking lines on your own hand. Like, what if you just did that? What if you just did that? What if that was just something you did? Because it works as a really good reference. Usually people draw them on gloves, actually, so, you know, it works out because you wind up having like the same sort of style as like when you're trying to flesh out hands. Just saying, it is an option. Okay, so with the thumb, you think there are 2 joints in thumb? No, there are 3. Okay, so you have joint here, and here. Okay, and if you have those basic sort of understanding of like how far a joint is from one another, then you already are halfway there, you know? So that would mean like the tip of your thumb is up here. We're gonna draw a tube. We're gonna draw another tube. And then the weird part is the fact that this joint is actually like here in your hand. So it's a little jarring to think about, but that is basically where it is in your hand. You can even like go in and feel it like moving around and stuff. And it is a lot longer than the top 2 parts of your joint as well. So it'd be like here-ish. We're just going by this. So now we would just connect it up. Well, hold on. Let me actually get this looking correctly. Okay. So we connect things up. This is going to be rounded because if you notice in your hand, it's rounded. And you're going to just base it off of completely having both straight lines and curved lines. So here, here, and here, and wow, wowie. Yeah, it's like right next to your wrist. It's right freaking there. So then at that point, you will be able to use it as a landmark to get everything else done. I would actually say those fingers are too small for the size of this hand, so give me 2 seconds. Because if you did not know, the size of your middle finger is generally the size of your palm. More you know. And if you were to like close up your hand as much as possible, your thumb comes to about there. So if you'd like to size comparison to the rest of your hand, Evie, you are in my way. It works, right? So now we have that. So now just keeping in mind your points of articulation. Okay, so here, and then you have 2 in your hands. And then that's the segments of your fingies. And wowie. Wow, look at that. We drew a hand. And in most cases, this just kind of slopes down and it's pretty small of a slope from this part down, because you don't have as much of a fleshy bit here as you do for your thumb, because this is a whole muscle because it's controlling this thumb. But you do got a little bit of a fleshy butt. So, the general gist, general rules of drawing a hand. So, again, breaking it down, basic ass shapes. Yep, come on. So I'm not drawing a full tube, but if you notice, I did this thing where I made a little indent right here. That basically is already showing me where those 2 little indents would be. That too, yeah. It really just depends on like how your fucking joints are for the most part. Now, for me, the reason that I'm able to sit here and just do this and be like, wow, it's a hand, wowie wow, is literally because I've done this all my life. I've practiced the fuck out of it. And for the most part, this isn't even still that good. Like, there's a lot of errors to this that I can already fucking see. So, there's that. And so, for me, I'm in my mind putting those tubes down. But for you guys, I would still like to see you sit there and draw every single basic shape before thinking about, like, how the hand is supposed to work. Like, trying to do what I'm doing is basically what I'm getting at. Hi, Winston. So, does that make sense? The bottom half, in the same way that when I was teaching you that like legs have hard parts and soft parts, because the back of your leg tends to be more of a straight line, and then the back of your thigh tends to be a straight line, and then this tends to be a curve, and then the opposite is true. So then you have a curve, a straight. It's the same for the hand. That the same idea translates to all parts of the body, 100%. Arms, legs, hands, everything. You tend to have more straight lines and more hard lines up top, and on the bottom half, you tend to have a lot more curves and soft spaces. So, for example, so if you notice, I'm trying to draw this in some perspective, and because I'm remembering that this is a 3D shape and not just a square, I'm keeping in mind where things are. So now I would have a pinky, okay, and then I would have ring finger, middle finger, index finger. Okay, and the better way to do that, actually, would probably be, where is it? Is it this? This brush? Yeah. So you have your fingers all lining up on top of one another. And then from there, you also have your palm, which develops into this as well, and so on and so forth. You have the bump. If you notice your hands from the side, you'll have two major sort of bumps in it. And this is basically where your knuckles are, which is why it's so big. And then this is going to be your butt meat, basically, your thumb butt meat, because your thumb has a butt. Because it's like this, and then it's like this, and you're like, ooh, that's a cute little butt. You're like, ooh. Hold on. You're like, ooh, boy, oh man. It's a good butt. So, yeah. Yes, the thumb butt. So, any questions on the basic building of a hand at all? Before we jump straight into telling you you all suck at everything you do. Sort of. Yeah, a little bit. You're just, you know, it's fine. I mean, to be fair, when actually when you're clapping, in most cases, so when you're clapping, you're actually doing like this sort of thing. You're not full on like going back and forth between the two hands. You're not, because that feels a little bit hard. You tend to have one hand kind of tilted when clapping, so actually you're kind of caressing your thumb butt. In a sense. It does depend on the person, but in most cases you caress the thumb butt. Is the thumb an upside down thigh? Kind of. Because, hold on. So if you have your thumb, okay, and there's a joint here, and then there's a joint here, and then, like, this is the thumb. Technically, thigh, calf, foot, in a sense. I don't like it, but yeah, that's one way to put it. I don't really like it. And I guess that makes sense for, like, when you're making a little dude with your fingers and sort of thing, and you're walking it around sort of thing. So when you're making a little dude with your fingers, okay, and your thumb's usually like up here, and it's like this, hold on, like this. In most cases, yeah, it would be the feet. That's something to think about. Like the fact that horses walk on their fingernails. Any actual questions before we get into anything else? He's a little dude! Hey, Sebs. Okay, is there anyone who wants to go first, by the way? Also, thank you all for giving me your references as well. Very grateful for that. Sure, Sabs. Okay, so two things that I want to... Thank you for that. Two things I want to mention. When thinking about hands that have one less finger, don't be afraid to just combine the two middle fingers in order to do what you are doing. I just want to mention that. Because in most cases, regardless, the two middle fingers tend to like sitting next to each other regardless. So if you literally just go like, nah, then wow, you have an even, like, middle finger sort of thing. Well, yeah, I figured that's what you do, but I'm just, like, explaining it. And so in that sense, you're keeping the same sort of anatomy of your hand, just, you know, has one less finger. Instead of, like, cutting one off and then you have, like, a weird gap between everything, it's better to fuse the bones together and just act like there's one less bone at birth. So, okay. Give me a second, because I haven't had the chance to really look over, all of this. Sabs, did you wind up drawing this one? I'm just curious. Oh shoot, victory song. Okay. I was gonna say, I wouldn't really use that as a reference. I would use real photos. Okay. Okay. Comparatively to this one, it looks like you were basing these two fingers off of these two. And since you were wanting to fuse the two middle fingers, I would actually say that this would be a little bit smaller and more akin to this, so to speak. So I would actually put it under here instead of trying to go off of these two. Okay. There's also a little bit more of a curve down than I think you sort of realized in this one. So I would actually just sort of mention that. Because with it curving down, you have a little gap right there that you can see here. And then I don't think you fully understood... Let's see, I don't think you fully understood where the joints were in this, so to speak. And that kind of goes back to how I was saying, like, people make literal white gloves. Like, you go to the dollar store, you get, like, a white glove and you just draw on it, right? So your joints would actually be, let's see, here, and here, and here. And this joint, I think, eluded you, basically, because you wound up with only, like, two in here, and that's fine. It's just keeping in mind that there is a joint there, so to speak. Because you're winding up with it looking very, very flat, whereas in turn, it's actually doing this sort of thing, even if it's, like, how do I put this? At less of a slope, it is still doing that shape. So keeping that in mind might be important, of just making sure you understand the 3D shape in a 3D space. Or the 2D shape in a 3D space, sorry. And just keeping it in mind. Okay. Good for just standard. Okay, I like that you did add the joints here, which means you do know about them. It just might have confused you, which is good. I would say that this probably needs to have a little bit more of a thumb shape, because currently it does not have that. It sort of just looks like a bump. Thumbs tend to have almost a curved feeling about them in most cases. And fingers do too, That's why whenever I'm drawing fingers, I tend to do this for a digit instead of like pure tubes. But again, I'm wanting you guys to draw tubes just because it will make more sense to someone just starting out to learn to draw basic shapes. But I'm explaining my process so it explains why I'm seeing the issues that I am. I would also say whenever you see this curve, that's generally where the nail is as well. Whereas this seems like the thumb got a little bit turned, which is fine. I will say, I like that you did like make a study between like standard hands and your hands, so to speak. But I think your hand butt might be too big. I think your hand butt might just be a little bit too big, and this might just be me coming in from like a designer's whatever the hell. Here, hold on. I would keep them down here still because you do still have knuckles, so they do need space, right? And the reason that we have such ambidextrous hands is because we have this little spot where there's not a lot, just because it makes it so that we can grip things and hold on to them, because it's this muscle and these pushing like against each other that it makes it possible for us to hold things as well as we do as human beings. So just something to keep in mind. I don't know if this is going to apply to you so much because dragon hands, but keep in mind, okay, that didn't work. Keep in mind that there's webbing in between your fingies. Like you can spread your fingers really, really wide and look at them and just be like, oh, okay, yeah, I have little webby thingies. And that's from us evolving that from a really long time ago. But for the most part, when you're looking at it from the palm, doesn't look like anything. When you're looking at it from the back is where it matters. Because again, that webbing comes from the fact that our hands in the front, I'm just using this as like reference. The hands in the front are a little bit higher because of the knuckles than our hand in the back. So we wind up with this little bit of webbing. Because then you have your knuckles right here. So any questions? You also have a huge webbing between your hand and your thumb, and try to not confuse that for just being like part of the thumb, because it is not. It is not the thumb, it is just little fleshy bits that would fry up real well in a fryer. It's not even really cartilage, honestly. It's just kind of there. It's like a bat wing, sort of. Okay. This is nice, I will say. Having drawn this circle, because that is what your hands do. Your hands basically make a circle. It's a really good point of reference. And in that same point of reference, your thumbbrella, in that point of reference, I'd also like to mention that if you want, it is possible to just draw this shape, basically, and just do this and that, and have that same idea for your sketches, and then go back and draw your hands. It is possible to just do that. So you can just do like this, because I know I want like these fingers bent. And then the knuckles are here and here. And it is the same idea. And then I would go back and be like, oh wow, hand. Well, no, I'm just saying like, this is what I'm using as like a reference, is you can just use like a fan shape for your hand. That is something you can do. You don't have to make this hard for yourself. You can just make a fan, is all I'm getting at. Okay. Any questions? Well, what I'm saying is like the fact that you use this circle was really smart of you to kind of think of that in the first place. Because that is what hands do. Hands basically make a circle shape. If you were to like put like finger paint on your fingers and spin your hand, it just makes a circle. And so that's a really good point of reference for drawing a hand like that, because you know they would be touching that circle at the very least. They would be all along that line, sort of thing. I'm not saying it was perfectly done, I'm just saying it was a smart idea. Hey, what? Ugh. Do I have water? I have like 4 cups in here. Why are none of them full of water? Oh no, one of them. One is. Okay. This old water though. It's sink water. God damn it. Is this old water? Hold on. Yeah, that's old water. Okay. Any questions? Sabs, any questions? Okay. Listen, I have one, like, thermal cup with a lid, one thermal cup without a lid, and 2 plastic cups full of water. Both of them crap. So. Okay. Anyone want to go next? This is also one of those Doodleforts where, honestly, like, I want to just... how do I put it? It's a lot of the same that I'm going to be saying. And so because of that, y'all will hopefully pick up on it pretty well. Okay, so Mimic, first and foremost, this was ballsy as hell. This entire one was ballsy as hell. We're gonna just, you know what, let's go to Chillhop. Fuck it. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, Mimic took no fucking prisoners. I think you did decently, especially since that's not a pose a lot of people go for, and you did break it down into, like, shapes and things. But I think some of your other hands were a little bit weaker because of that. Let me try to find the reference for that you used for something first before I jump at it. Again, I would not use drawn by another artist tutorials. I would use full photo references for drawing. Try to avoid people drawing what they think is exactly right, because it will never be exactly right. Okay. So first and foremost, there's a little dip right here that you wound up drawing a line for that you do not need, I don't think. If you notice, the finger just kind of continues into this line. So what you could have done is come down here. Let's just... There we go. You could have come down here and just continued this into this muscle group instead of trying to draw every single line that you wound up seeing. Because you wound up thinking that using the reference, for this one at least, was very much about drawing every single line in it, which isn't really what you needed to do. You needed to get all the shapes down first. And so I honestly would just... Because, again, it's one of those things where you need to draw what you see and not what you think you see. Because in most cases, you're going to be drawing the wrong thing. I would also say it feels like this hand is a lot wider here. So the easiest thing I'm going to just do is just... Nope. Okay. You see how that changes? Not a whole lot, but like enough that it feels a lot more natural, at least. And it's just because this muscle has a lot of room right here, whereas you wound up not giving it that room. So let's just go in and do this, because remember, this one is the dominating muscle. This one is just a little tiny butt. Only there to help grab a thing. This muscle is the one that's going to be the domineering one. Okay. And then I'm going to straighten this side out a little bit more, because if you notice, this side, again, is your straight side, whereas these have all your curves. And that's not just from an anatomy standpoint, that's also from a well-concepted piece standpoint. Yeah, we can call them butt major and butt minor. That's fine. And then this actually connects about here. And there's still some stuff that I would probably wind up doing with this, just to try and... What is happening? Okay. There's still some stuff I would wind up probably trying to do with this. Like the fact that I need this and this to line up a little bit more, and this was far this way. One thing you can always do is, in the reference photo that you're taking, is go, okay, there's this much space from here to here, and go, all right, where in the photo is there something that is exactly that long? You can go, oh, look, basically the back of the pinky is about that long. So you go, all right, cool. Then that means in my drawing, from here to here needs to be the same distance from here to here. Make sense? And it's just about finding, like, okay, if this is this long and this is this long, then I need to have it be about the same, so to speak. And this is making me realize that this needs to come out just a little bit more. Okay, and then you would probably want to apply that for everything. A lot of the thing that's going to be hard for most people with drawing hands is drawing, how do I put this? Shapes on top of shapes, I think, is the best way to put it. Because you're basically stacking shapes on top of one another. And the best way to do that is actually to draw every single part of the shape and then go back. So let's say this is our gluteus minimum and gluteus maximum. And then I just erase that. And then I know that there's this shape sort of thing, as well as the box that it goes on top of, right? But I know the gluteus maximum erases part of that box, and the box erases part of that, so to speak. And then I know that the thumb starts about here and goes to here, and then so on and so forth. And so I'm going to go ahead and erase this as well. And building up your shapes is probably going to be the easier way to learn, just building off of things. So really just learning to stack objects and be able to light them and shade them is probably going to be one of the bigger things, which is why I sort of mentioned to everybody, like, practice shapes, practice lighting, practice, you know, learning how to stack shapes on one another in such a sense that it does look like it's like going into the background, sort of thing. These are the studies that like I'm talking about in most cases. I have a brush, I will admit, that helps with this, and I used it a second ago. And it's really easy to make it. It's just a brush with an outline that stacks on top of one another. I can also hand it out and clip if need be. But for now, let's just do this. So we have that. And then you have the very obvious, like, it is stacking on top of one another sort of thing. And it legitimately helps build shapes in most cases. So let's say I want to draw a leg, for example. So I know that there's two muscle groups. I know that there's a muscle group here. I know there's a bone here. I know there's a knee. I know there's the heel, which goes behind this part, which goes behind the foot. Wow, I drew a whole leg. And then literally all I have to do afterwards is go in and clean it the hell up. And it's a leg. Wow. Shocking, I know. Who could have seen that coming? And then, I mean, you could get finite to it as well with building shapes. You could add toes, you could add hand, like fingers and stuff. And it's really helpful to work with shapes instead of trying to think of it as a whole figure. Any questions? Any questions from anybody as well as Mimic? Oh. Okay. I still kudos to you, man, for doing that upper left hand. Like, damn. Not a lot of people would try that angle, and I'm very proud of you for doing so. Okay. Whammon or Jordy, who wants to go? I mean, I don't know, maybe? Listen, my brain is mush. Alright. So, Jordy. I guess my biggest thing is that a lot of these feel like I think you traced your photos instead of practicing the shapes, which is what we asked you to do. And I know that's how you're trying to learn, but this was to do studies, which is how you wind up learning. Okay, yeah. And in most cases, like I said, a lot of it is breaking down shapes and practicing everything instead of just tracing over them. Which, I get it, if you don't understand entirely how to, practice, like, it can be hard. But we do have Doodlefort open that if you ever have any questions, we're here for you, you know? That's the point of Doodlefort. So, let's just real quick break this hand down into shapes. So again, you have your box of fries. Okay. You have your thumb, which has 1, 2, 3 joints. You got your tube, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So exactly where your joints are, but I don't know if I might really care. Okay, so let's say you drew this hand, okay? Well, I know you only know how to draw mitten hands, but this is me trying to teach you how to draw hands. Because if you want to draw something other than mitten hands, I'm trying to teach you it, basically, like how to study hands. So, okay. So let's just do shrimp real quick and just go, okay, we've now traced over the hand and we understand basically how the shapes break down for the most part, right? You know, you have knuckles, sort of thing, etc. So you go, okay. And then from here, I need to draw that exact same thing. So we're going to start with the base shape of a square. We're going to draw this. And then again, and again. And then this is a little bit shorter than what I drew up there. So we're going to do that sort of thing. Tube, 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 tube. And then here, 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 and here. And so now we have not a great version, but a version of this, right? So then you can just go in and make sure that things work anatomically. So like that thumb was a little bit too big as well. So you could go in with the lasso tool and transform things and move them around. You don't have to draw it perfectly, right? You have every right to sit here and go, actually, these two fingers are a little bit fucking longer than what I drew. So you can just do this. It's a sketch, who cares? Sort of thing. And now you have two versions of this hand that you're now practicing, and then you just do it again, maybe from a different angle. You go, okay, well, if it's from a different angle, I'm gonna do like a tube here and here, and let's put these fingers together because Deer said that one time that these two fingers like hanging out, which, all right, cool. And then we draw thumb, and I go, oh, actually that thumb's a little too big. And you fix it a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're studying, you're sketching, you're not trying to do an art. You are just learning. Because all you can do as an artist for half the time you're drawing is learn. And the only way to learn is to do in art, which kind of sucks. But, you know, it's like riding a bike. The only way you're going to learn how to ride a bike is to ride the bike. You know? And this isn't just for Jordy. This is for everyone. Right? Everyone always has this thing where like, oh, I'm scared of, you know, drawing this, or I don't know how to. And it's like, have you practiced? And they usually go, no. And it's like, well, then there's your fucking problem, right? It's one of those things where I'm trying to give everyone at least sort of, how do I put this? The best starting position I can. And then I want you guys to just go and try. That's why I give you shrimp method. That's why I say, like, get a glove and fucking draw on it and just, like, go and practice from there, right? Because if you have all of these tools in front of you, there's no reason to not try. Sorry, one sec. I have to take my medication so I don't die. Not die, but you know what I mean. So, okay, 2 seconds. Okay. Any questions, Jordy? And or anyone else? I hate that we bought a smaller pill box for my pills, and one of them gets stuck, and it makes me worry that I'm gonna forget to take it or something because it's gonna get stuck in there. Why the sonic drowning sound? Because it feels more dramatic, and like if I don't take my pills, like something bad's gonna happen. No, you can trace all you want to get a feel for it. I don't mind that. That's what I'm asking you to do in the first place, right? Because if you're sitting there and you're tracing these hands, you kind of get a better concept like through shrimp method, which is why, oh God. The baby crying would just make me... Jordy's in the Discord because they've been having Twitch trouble. Yeah. Because now it's the same idea as like doing shrimp method, that you get the general gist that like, oh, there's a joint like right here and I didn't think about that before maybe, or something like that. But the idea is to go from there and then take it one step further. So yeah, trace. Now, kind of. What I'm doing with Jordy is trace, break down into basic shapes, and then redraw that thing with basic shapes, sort of thing. So it'd be trace it and then go, okay, well that's a tube and a tube and a tube and a tube, and this is a square sort of shape, and there's a circle here and here, and this is a tube that has joints in it. And then going from there and going, okay, well now I'm redrawing this again and again and again. And now that I understand, because I traced over this and broke it down into different shapes, sort of thing, I can just redraw that myself and then change it up like as I want. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, Lime. Which I know I've been like saying this over and over for you, Jordy, but like basic shapes are going to make things much easier for you in the long run. Like if you ever want to get out of your style, and you don't have to, right? Like I'm not saying you need to change how you draw, sort of thing. But if you want to improve how you draw in any fashion, these are the steps to do it, so to speak. And you've been making like really big strides. Like you drew a fucking bench the other day in Doodlefort, and it was great. And you did an actual background, and you actually tried, and it was great. And it's just, how do I put this? It's just getting the tools and understanding them, I think, is kind of the hurdle that I'm trying to help you with. So I'm not trying to be mean. I promise you. Every time in Doodlefort, I'm not trying to be mean. But Doodlefort is for improving art, so that's what I'm going to try to get you to do. Does that make sense? Also, any questions from anyone? Oh, my back is crunchy today, man. Oh. Ugh. Here, chat, would you like some kitten? Hold on. Here you go. Oh, wait. There you go. Yeah. No, you're fine, Jordy. You can take as long as you need to understand this, and you're doing far better than I think you are, and it just takes time. You know, I've been doing this for... I mean, I've been drawing since basically birth, but I've been drawing what I would consider professionally only for like 11 years, and I still have a really long way to go, in my opinion. So, you know, you're always learning, and it always takes time. Okay. Oh man, I'm excited for the next Doodlefort because I already picked the theme. Okay. Hey, Wayman, you still here? Or did you wind up having to leave? Hey, Nobugu. Oh man, I'm sleepy. I was thinking about doing another freaking stream tonight, but I might be just too sleepy. Also, it seems like more people want me to play Arceus at a normal stream time than anything. Which, that's fine. I'm good with that. Okay, no worries. I'll make this pretty quick because you wound up being the person last in line. I'm gonna basically pick a hand and ask chat to fix it. Just so you know. Just because we went over everything kind of already. I'm really, really glad that you broke things down into shapes. I will say that. You literally gave things boxes. Oh, that's an eraser. You gave things boxes. You tried to break down the joints and so on. But there are a little bit of things here and there. And the one that I'm gonna go with, I think... Let me make sure this is the right one I'm going with. Yeah, okay. Okay, so comparatively to its reference, what are some issues that we're having? I don't know if this is the right one. Is it the right one? No, it's the next one. The one right after it. I think. No. I think it's actually just its own drawn hand. Okay, that's fine. Nyeh. Oh, one other thing. Sabs, you wound up using it like a dark blue for your background, and then you wound up shading everything. I would actually say stick to the color gray that we've talked about, like this one, if you're going to start shading things, because this is a average light environment color. This is like your base light environment, whereas this is someone who has a light on them sort of thing, like reaching up in the dark. Your average light environment, yeah, they all do look a little similar. It's fine. You're fine. For the most part, it just makes it easier to light things, basically. Okay, so knowing what we know about what we talked about today, if I were to redline this, what would I need to do? Chat. And or Wayman, specifically. Not Sabs, sorry. Not my... no, it's not you, Sabs. It was, Mimic. I was thinking Mimic. Sorry. I'm so sorry. No, you're good, Wayman. Like I said, like, I don't mind. The VODs are also there for a reason, so if anyone needs to work, they can go back and be like, okay, what did Deer say about my thing? Sort of thing. It was Mimic I was yelling at, not Sabs. My fault. It was like... Mimic wound up using like a blue color for their background. And I'm just like, no. Stop it. Stop. What's that in your mouth? The color blue? No. Drop it. Drop it. Anyway, so back to what we were doing. So, I'm literally asking you, chat. What do we need to do to this so that I can redline it and make it quote-unquote correct anatomically from what we learned today? I'm sleepy. Wow. I wonder why I'm so sleepy today. No, I've had like 3 cups of coffee. It just hasn't hit me for some reason. Maybe it's just the fact that it's so fucking cold. Them fingers too small, but it could be me. No, those fingers are small, Jordy. So again, from here to here is about the same length as your fingers, your middle finger, right? So if we were to assume that this plus this, and I'm going a little bit longer just because of it being bent, and I'm just making the assumption, because we really just need the assumption, to this. And it doesn't have to be a straight line. You can literally sit there and connect up all the lines. Needs to be the exact same length-ish as this. And you can tell even with me assuming that this is a little bit longer, it's a little short. So you would be correct, actually, Jordy. So good job. Probably make the fingers longer and build on top of them. Yep. So I would start first and foremost with building your shapes, like we talked about. Okay. And then from there, and a really, really good method for building shapes if you don't have a brush that will do it for you is literally just a coil. That's it. Because then you just go in and you go and you erase some and wow, now it's a 3D object. Shocking. And then like wow, it's someone's calf and thigh. Coil method is fan-fucking-tastic. And honestly, it's about the same as what like this brush does. This brush does, because it's the exact same, right? Like I'm just still building shapes on top of one another. But for this, it makes it a little bit easier just because you don't need any special brush, but you have to have a general idea of what the shape is you're going for in the first place. So it can be a little bit harder to get a hold on. I remember when I first learned coil method, it was actually pretty hard to get like an actual grip on for the most part. And I still kind of have trouble with it. Also, hi, Jose. Thank you. Also, hi, how are you? Okay, so again, so these are the actual shapes we're working with. We're not working with squares. We're working with 3D objects. And then if a red line is too rough for your eyes, you legitimately can just sit here and be like, okay, well, I need this to be here and here, and just draw in a totally different color. That's something you can just do. You can just do that, and it's okay. It does get a little bit confusing sometimes. Redlining can be kind of rough to look at, and I do admit that. Because you are overlapping everything. So if you notice, by the way, I put a circle down for this one, and then I literally just put another circle down, like this. It's because it's coming towards the camera. It's literally coming, like, at you, okay? So that would basically mean that that circle is, or that cylinder, so to speak, is going to, you're not really going to see the sides, is what I'm getting at here. I cannot talk today. It's the same as if you take a bottle of or a can of Coke or something, or some cylinder, and you turn it so that it's facing directly towards you, like the circular part, you're not really going to see the outer, like, ring of it. Okay, and then here, and then this one is here, and then this one was here and here, and then this one is here and here. Okay, so now we have this to this, which I'm barely drawing, if you notice, and then it comes down to this shape. Same goes for this. And this one actually overlaps this finger for how we've drawn it. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw the shape over it and then erase, because you can just do that. You can literally just do whatever the fuck you want. Who gives a shit? It is a tool. Use it. Now I'm going to say that I drew this pinky, okay, a little large. And that's okay. Because again, wow. You just shrink it. You literally just shrink it. You can literally just do that. And then we need to bring it down into the hand butt. Gluteus major, gluteus minor. Remember that the knuckles have their own muscle as well. I realize that I'm not redlining this anymore. It's fine. Remember that the thumb has 3 whole joints. As well. And then I actually am going to make these fingers a little bit bigger because even I drew them a little small. Okay, so it's not perfect. I will say that. This is a fairly hard pose to like keep track of, but it's honestly not that far off from what you needed to do in the end. Which is good, you know? You were actually fairly close to what you were needing. So, there's that. I would say, just be careful that you don't confuse this box part here for, like, having those muscle groups. Because those muscle groups technically are above the box, so to speak. So if you were to have your hand like this, let's say those are fingers, right? And we're calling this box your hand, right? So you would have your knuckles here. This muscle group and these muscle groups still stand out above that box. They are on top of said fry box instead of being a part of it. So they're actually like a 3D surface to some extent. They're not super huge, but they do stand out on top of that box because this box basically contains all of your bones, your tendons, things like that. The muscle group that this is does not contain those things. It is its own entity. Okay, so any questions? Seriously though, you did really good in breaking down things into shapes. Like, not everybody wound up doing that, so pat your hand, bud. It deserves it. Oop, I turned my tablet off. I mean, yes and no. I would say... Oh, shit. Hold on. Oh no. Things are breaking. Everything's fine. Ah! It's fine. Don't worry about it. Someone sent me some command strips. I need them. Oh god. Okay. For the Discord. That'll be in a second, subs. So things certainly sound perfectly fine, yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is, like, if you think you're teaching yourself the wrong thing, ask, you know? Because like I told Jordy, like, that's what the Discord is for. That's what Doodlefort Discord is for, you know? Man, I have talked myself out of breath today, damn. Whew. I'm gonna kill someone if I have to go to the jury duty. That's what the Doodlefort Discord is for, right? And if no one answers your question, at me. You know, at me and just be like, I'm not sure of this thing. Would you tell me this thing? And if I don't know said thing, I will go research it for you. You know? So, I guess the biggest thing is having that teacher there to sit there and go, hey, do this, but don't do that, is probably going to be your biggest thing. Because... Oh no, Fisher, no. Because that's the only way you're gonna know, like, right from left. No, never do it yourself. You wanna know? Would you like to know something? You do wanna know something? That is the same mentality that stops people from using reference. 100% the same. because you, in your brain, think you should know how to do this because you're an artist, and everybody else is self-taught, right? They all learned how to do it. They just know how to draw this thing, when the reality of the situation is that, you know, you have to learn somehow. You're not going to be able to learn how to ride a bike without someone teaching you how to ride a bike, you know, or helping you along. You aren't going to understand how a bike works if you haven't ever looked at a bike, sort of thing. I mean, yeah, but like, wiggling a stick of graphite on paper is fine, though. Okay, so I already mentioned this in the... Yeah. Exactly. Everyone learns from something. You don't need to teach yourself. So I mentioned in the Doodlefort Discord that I wanted everybody to find either the first thing they drew or one of the oldest things they drew or something like that. And Sabs brought it up a second ago. Because I want you to redraw it. I absolutely want you to take that picture. Now, it doesn't have to be the first picture you drew. It just has to be like around the first picture. It needs to just be very old, okay? Somewhere before Doodlefort, somewhere before, you know, you were like practicing as an artist. And I want you to redraw it. And that's the next Doodlefort, is I want you to redraw one of your oldest pieces. Yeah. And when you post it to the Discord, I want both of them. I want the new one and the old one. So it'll be very similar to the... Hold on. It's basically like the draw this again, where you draw something and then you draw it again. This person's insane, but you draw something and then you draw it again, basically, is what I'm getting at. So, yeah, that's what I would like y'all to do. Let's see. February. Let's actually put it on a Saturday this month. Probably the 19th. So, okay. So as per usual, let's go ahead and raid Betty, who's streaming. I guess maybe just raid with like touch your hand butt, or applause is just clapping your hand butt. Applause is just clapping your hand butt. There you go. So yeah, I will be back tomorrow for a very special stream with a very special VTuber named Nicole Goodnight. And we're going to be power washing, and it'll be fantastic. So y'all get excited for that. And then I don't know if we're streaming Monday. I think I might be doing GeoGuessr with Gam either Monday or the Monday after. And then we have cooking stream on Tuesday. So that's the plan for this week. So y'all get the fuck out of here. Have a good night. Tell Barry about hand butts and things like that. Deer do be drawn, it's true. Y'all have a fantastic one. And I will see you whenever the fuck. Honestly. Goodbye. Goodbye. And if you're new and you want to join Doodlefort, feel free to join the Discord. There's a channel in it there that we'd use. Goodbye.